Today we are going to continue to learn about making connections. Why should I make connections with the text that I am reading? So yesterday we talked about the 3 different types of connections. We talked about text to self, where the story reminds us of a time that we remember. So maybe it made you think about something, maybe it reminded you of something that happened in your life that you can relate to. We also talked briefly about text to text. This is where one book reminds you of another book. And text to world, where this reminds you of something that you heard about, whether it's on the news, the radio, the newspaper, online, something that happened within the world. Okay. So today we are going to really focus on making strong text to self connections. A text to self connection is something or someone in the text that makes you think about yourself or something you have experienced in your own life. So how many of you have a brother, a sister, a cousin, or even a friend that sometimes pesters you? So I grew up, I was the oldest of 3. I have a younger sister named Tanya, and then I have a younger brother named Jody. So Jody was the youngest. And Tanya and Jody used to pester me all the time, especially when I had friends over, or if, if I got something, like let's say for my birthday, they would always pester me. Like they wanted to play with it. They wanted to play with my friends and I. Everything I did, my brother and my sister usually went with me. And so because of that, brothers and sisters do what brothers and sisters do, and they get on our nerves sometimes. But there was a lot of stories in where my sister or my brother were pestering me. Well, today we're going to hear a story called Grandpa's Teeth, which is one of my favorite books, and I can make tons of connections with. As you hear the story, I will share some of my connections, but I would also like you to jot down some of your connections on either your whiteboard or in your notebook. After we're done listening to the story, you're going to share some of your connections to the story. This is the graphic organizer that you can put either on your whiteboard, or if you would like to put this in your reader's notebook so that you can always be reminded that this is a text to self connection, where you write the part of the story. Okay, so you just 1 or 2 sentences, like this happened in the story, and it made you think about what in your life did this make you think about. And you're going to come up with 3 different parts of the story and make 3 different connections. Grandpa's Teeth by Rod Clement. All right, here we go.
Grandpa's Teeth by Rod Clement. Help! Help! I've been robbed! We heard Grandpa shouting, "It's a disaster! Come quickly!" He was still shouting as Mom, Agatha, and I ran up the stairs.
Grandpa's room was a mess. But to be honest,
it was always a mess. He blamed Gump, his old dog. But Gump looked too old to me to make much of a mess.
What was taken?
Guessed Mom.
Your VCR? Your television? Not your gold-plated golden trophy?
No, said Grandpa. It's much more serious. It's my teeth. They've been stolen.
So, I don't know about you, but my grandpa, I had a grandpa, it was Grandpa Boone, and it was my dad's dad, always misplaced his teeth. Always. And you would go and you wouldn't know it until you went up to give him a hug or kiss him on the cheek, and then he would open his mouth. Bah! So I can really relate to this story, and I think you're going to find it funny as it continues.
Grandpa normally kept his teeth in a glass of water by the bed. The glass was still there, but the teeth were missing.
You haven't swallowed them by mistake, have you?
Asked Mom. Of course not, replied Grandpa. Those teeth were special, handmade by the finest, the with craftsmen. Agatha looked at Mom and whispered,
Why is Grandpa talking funny?
You see how serious it is? Moaned Grandpa. I may never speak the same again.
Are you sure you've looked everywhere?
Asked Mom.
Under the bed? Behind the cabinet? In all the drawers?
Yes, replied Grandpa with tears in his eyes. I've looked everywhere. Mom called the police. Officer Ray looked grave. We've done a thorough search of the room and house, but we found nothing at all. No teeth, no clues. Everyone was at home at the time of the theft. So how the thief got in and out without being seen is a mystery. Can you give us a description of the stolen articles, Mr. Pertwhistle? Grandpa frowned, rubbed his chin, then looked closely at the officer. Could you smile, please? He asked. Smile? Yes, a nice big smile. Officer Ray grinned sheepishly. No! Shouted Grandpa angrily. I mean, really, smile! Officer Ray smiled broadly. Grandpa leaned forward, tapped the officer's teeth with his finger, and growled suspiciously. They look just like those! Officer Ray looked shocked. I've had these for years. Officer Ray took us all down to the station for further investigation. Using Grandpa's description, the police artist drew a picture of the missing teeth. They put up our wanted poster with all the others.
We
We
made
made
copies
and put them up all over town.
Now, I don't know about you, but first of all, back a couple pages where Grandpa put his teeth in a cup, my grandfather had a special teeth cup too. But when he was super silly, if we left our cup laying around the house and we didn't take care of it, meaning we didn't put it away or put it in a safe spot so that the next time we needed a drink, when we would go get the cup, Grandpa's teeth would be in the cup, which was quite disgusting. But anyhow, but have you been around town and seen on like some of the poles, like the missing dog or the missing cat posters? I can relate to that because I remember one time our cat had gone missing, and my brother and sister and I, we all made posters and put them all over the telephone poles up and down our street until the cat came back. So kind of like that story, but he's looking for his missing teeth.
Officer Ray rounded up the usual suspects and took them in for questioning. All of them were asked to smile. Most of them had missing teeth as well, but just one or two, not the whole set. They even brought in our unfriendly neighbor, Miss Carbuncle because her own teeth didn't fit. But Grandpa didn't recognize her or the teeth in the police lineup. I've never seen her smile before, he explained to Officer Raid. After several days, Officer Raid had to admit that no teeth had been found, no thief had been caught, and no new clues had been uncovered. Grandpa suspected everyone, especially anyone who didn't smile. Soon, the whole town was smiling at him. Although he never smiled back, he had nothing to smile with. Mom even got a call from one of those TV shows, Unsolved Crimes. They came to the house in a helicopter. We had to reenact the whole thing. When Grandpa was interviewed, he asked the reporter, Pearl White, if he could borrow some of her teeth. After all, he mumbled, "You have more than enough." Dad called Switzerland to find out how much a new set of teeth would cost. He was so shocked when he found out that he dropped the phone. "The only way we could ever afford it," he joked to Mom, "is to sell the house." Grandpa thought this was a great idea. "Who needs a house anyway?" he moaned. "It doesn't help you chew your food." To cheer him up, we all took Grandpa to the amusement park. It was a disaster. He took one look at the front entrance and burst into tears. Everyone watched Unsolved Crimes, but no one called Officer Raid, and the crime remained unsolved. Some spare teeth were left in the mailbox, but none of them fit properly. People began locking their doors at night, imagining a thief loose on the streets. No one knew who would be next, so fear gripped the town. The thief had to be caught, and soon. It seemed that the only way to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the teeth in your mouth were your own was to smile broadly at every person you met. Anyone who didn't smile was immediately dragged off to the police station for more questions and a chat with Officer Raid. So everyone began smiling at everyone else, all the time, everywhere, even at funerals. Because of Grandpa's teeth, the whole town was beginning to suffer. Tourists, seeing the endless sea of smiling faces, were too scared to get out of their cars. After a while, they stopped coming all together. Dad's cafe, like the rest of the town, was losing business. The mayor called an emergency meeting. That night, for the first time that anyone could remember,
The town hall was full.
speaker after speaker stood up to complain about the loss of customers and the constant strain of smiling all day, every day.
Now, I don't know if you guys have ever been to a town hall meeting or a council meeting, but I have. I remember the one time my boys had to go for community service in Scouts, and we went to a town hall meeting, and people were complaining. It was a long time ago. It was about them putting in a pet park, and the people around where the pet park was going to be put, they were all complaining that they didn't want pets being walked behind their house in case people didn't clean up after them, or if the dogs or animals would be running loose. But that's all they did was complain. But they still put it in.
Grandpa's teeth.
Sorry.
But rubbed his chin.
Sorry about that, guys. Here we go.
The town hall was full. Speaker after speaker stood up to complain about the loss of customers
and the constant strain of smiling all day, every day. Pastor Butter summed up the situation. While I've always considered this a happy town, there are limits. No one wants to smile without a reason. And there aren't many reasons to smile in this town at the moment. It's time, I believe, to put a stop to it. The crowd cheered. Mr. Pert Whistle had one of the finest sets of teeth in the country, and he alone cannot afford to replace them. In fact, I alone could not afford to replace them either. But if every one of us put $1 in the collection plate tonight, we would have enough money to buy 2 new sets of teeth. Most people put in $1. Others put in 2.
Ooh, have you ever collected money for
At
something?
the presentation ceremony,
I have.
Grandpa opened the package and revealed 2 sets of brand new teeth. Why are they different sizes? Asked the mayor. Oh, only one of them is for me, replied Grandpa, popping one of the sets into his mouth. The other one is for Miss Carbuncle. Her teeth never fit properly, and she has such a pretty smile. Grandpa was very happy with his new teeth. So was Miss Carbuncle. They smiled all the time.
In
In
fact,
fact, they were so happy that Grandpa's old dog, Gump, smiled too. For the first time ever.
and that was Grandpa's Teeth by Rod Clement. Thank you for...
So now you can figure out who stole the teeth. So for your next activity, you are going to go to the next link and you're going to write down your connections to the story. You're going to be typing them out. And then you're going to listen to another story. And this time you're going to listen to it and make your own connections. And you'll be uploading those connections also. So have a great day and enjoy listening to the story. I can't wait to hear about your connections.